Hey everybody, this is all college football all the time, and today we're going to be going over the game Utah against Oregon State. I think it's the matchup of the week, definitely in the Pac 12. So let's get into it. So we got Utah against Oregon at Oregon State, and Oregon's coming off that really close loss. They almost came back and beat Ward and Washington State. So if you look, you see that Utah doesn't have much of an offense. I'll just put it nicely. Their defense is fantastic. They're one of the worst in the nation. Only 89 points scored. Only 157 yards passing and 165 yards rushing. They have a decent rushing attack. I think that's what's saving them. But they've only allowed 38 points against. They're probably the best team in the pack, that on defense at least. So let's go up to the team comparison. So, yeah, Oregon State has one of the best rushing attacks in the nation. It's up there with the Ducks. It's not top, like the Ducks is top 5, but it's top 25, which is really good. And passing almost 235 yards a game on top of 200 yards, over 200 yards rushing. That's really good. They have a decent defense too, only allowing 158 points on the season. My mistake. That's only getting 158 points. And, you know, Oregon State's only allowed 71 points. And that's really good. I think they're like 47th, I think it was, in defense. And, I mean, this is going to be a barn burner. And if you look at the stats, I mean, for Oregon State, it's mostly Martinez and Fenwick. Whereas the Utes have the Jackson, Glover, and Johnson rotation, which it looks like they spread them pretty equally. Jackson looks like the best of the bunch. And they have a couple decent receivers. Oregon State does more of a two-headed monster approach, where it looks like Utah is more of a three-headed with their receivers. So let's get into what I actually think. So quite honestly, I actually think that this is going to be a barn burner. I think that if this was in Utah, I would say that Utah is going to win. I think that Pac-12 really messed with Utah. If Cam Rising comes back, that's like the massive unknown. I think that Utah wins this game if Cam Rising comes back, obviously, because that makes them one of the best teams in the Pac-12. I'd put them third with Cam Rising back, beside Oregon and Washington. But with that not being the case right now, because who knows when he comes back, I think Oregon State, they have the better rushing attack. They have a really good quarterback too, DJ Onolahu. I want to say that's his name. Olahu. Yeah. That was my best attempt. With Martinez, he's gonna be an NFL back, let's just be honest. And then they have pretty good defense. Utah, problem is they don't score points. And no, Oregon State doesn't have that defense that Utah does. But Oregon State has a pretty good defense too. It's like 47th in the country. So I'm going to say it is a grinded out, sluggish game. I'm going to say 20-14 Oregon State over Utah. And they just burn the hell out of the clock, because they're just going to be running, because Utah doesn't really pass that much. So yeah, 20-14 at Reser Friday night. I think that's a good call. And if Cam Rising plays, I would say 30-20 Utah. So I hope everybody. I just don't think the defense for Oregon State, the defense for Utah doesn't allow a ton of points. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Picking Oregon State at Oregon State. It's not an easy place to play. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.